Remember, my son, don't judge a book by its cover. But what if the cover's really cool? Oh, well, in that case, it's fine. Yes! Is that freaking God? Oh, my. Why? Orca is the best woman. I love her. I love her. You don't understand. If I do not die at the hands of Oka, then I am not going to die. Actually, the only way I will agree to let death take me is if I get the same treatment as my hero, Alexi Lutz, from season 1, episode 3 of The Boys. You're a legend! Why can't my girlfriend be like Orca? Actually, why can't you be like Orca?
What?
Why can't you be like Orca?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Do better. Hoes these days, man. From page 1, I was invested in her story. Like, I'm always scared starting a new book that I'm not going to be super invested in the characters, but boy did Mr. Gwynne put those fears to bed. I will say I'm not fully sold on Elvar as a character yet, but I am definitely getting there. Her story is cool, and I can physically see Gwynne putting in monsters for her to fight just to justify her being here so late in the game. And those scenes are great, right? The troll, the serpent, is that it? Regardless, they rule. People were not exaggerating Gwyn's ability to write a bangin' fight scene. There's Spurt, which I don't know if I love him or am deeply, deeply troubled by his existence. I do salute him for keeping the basin away from my forbidden love. I don't salute him for needing porridge mixed with Orca's spit and blood to do that. Though I am kind of curious what that tastes like. Look, Also, Varg, let's not forget about him. I was sold on him immediately. But he's only had a couple of chapters. Poor guy. Hasn't life been hard enough to him? You gotta limit his existence to just a couple spare chapters. His story is definitely one that interests me. I feel like it's gonna be one that I love more than I realize, and then once I get to the next book, I find out that his is the only story that I remember. Every detail is intriguing, and I like how Gwynne is exploring the violent nature of a Norse-inspired world. I guess it's a point better fit for Oka, but it also, I mean, it fits Varg too, and with Elvar a little bit actually. Did I just figure out the theme of the book? The only actual complaint that I have is a me issue. I'm not super used to Norse-inspired stuff in my media, so I'm having a little bit of difficulty picturing some of the creatures. I also haven't retained some of the world-building stuff too well, so after this I'm gonna go back and reread that one part in chapter 1. Something about the gods having a big war that nearly destroyed Earth, and their bones or something is like what powers the world? I don't know. Maybe I'll Google it. I'm a sucker for awesome fantasy worlds, but with how many shows and movies and Brandon Sanderson videos I've consumed, keeping it straight is all difficult for me. Oh, and I also want to say, I think that Thorkel is gonna die, and Guthvar is unfortunately gonna become a main character, and it is killing me to not know who or what did that stuff to Asgrim and Idrub's village. Though I'm assuming we will get the answer when they, inevitably attack Orca's stead. I don't know. Onwards I plow.
Yeah, you do.
Have you been there this whole time?
You never hung up.
Oh my word. Things are going down. They're all dead. Thorkel, Vienna, that's a sausage. What is this hose? Vesely, she's dead. And Spurt. Where was I? Oh, nightworms. That's right. Nightworms? Gwynne, you know I'm reading this right before I fall asleep. Piece of crap. Part of me reading books is setting them down for a few months, forgetting everything I read, fight for my life to find a suitable recap, and then start from the last place that I fully remember. This time around, I was only gone for 3 weeks, but it was a long 3 weeks. All right, it's long enough for this shirt to come back into rotation. I didn't have this haircut back then. I killed a hooker. A lot of things went down. But I can tell you one thing that never left my mind, and that is Orca's story, because she's just, who took my son? I can't tell you. I fear him. Fear me. Orca snarled. She twisted the spear again, leaned, and grabbed the hilt of her sack, still buried in his leg, dragging it slowly against the bone of his thigh. She waited for his screams to fade. It took a while. His name, Orca said. Mommy! We are reaching levels of hype that I am not used to a book giving me. Like, imagine John Wick. My interest has switched from Olka, Varg, Elvar to Olka, Elvar, Varg. I'm not disinterested at all. His phase is sort of setting up right now. Gwynne is a good author, so that does not mean that Varg's story is bad. It's just that right now I have to learn all sorts of, names, different characters now. I have complete faith in Gwynne that whatever this amounts to is going to be amazing. But Varg's journey is just at a spot right now that I'm not as interested in as the two other POVs. Also, Orca is just leagues above everyone else. I mean, it doesn't help that she won't stop dropping, like, cold lines. Like, Vesely's like, what are you gonna do with those blades, mistress? And Orca's like, I'm gonna find the owner and give them to him. Like, bars! My man Spurt is alive! So is the tiny sausage bat. That, you know. Also, I just got to a part where we see a city built around Snaka's skull, which is so freaking cool. Also, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't read this book, Snaka is the snake god whose skeleton makes up a mountain range and the map. That is one of the coolest things I've ever... It's only been 40 pages, so those are the only notes that I have right now, but I think you can see why I needed to get that off my chest. It's been 3 months. And I am dead inside. I also don't remember any of the Bloodsworn's names, which I'm assuming in a series called the Bloodsworn Trilogy won't be an issue. Why? One more? Yep. Alright, I'm gonna go over there. Whatever the continuity is just what it'll be. So, oh! Never again. Never again. Okay, that looked terrible. Everything in this book is so awesome that I keep forgetting to just mention stuff. The troll, the water snake, which are both Elvar's POV, because that's what happens when you introduce a slow bird character into the midst of 2 instant classics. Look, Gwynne, you beautiful, beautiful man. I see the effort you put in to make sure I was not bored reading her beginnings. And Gwendolyn, Daddy, if I may. Cut that out. Cut that. Don't put that in. You succeeded. You are good at writing books. Has anyone ever told you that you should pursue that as a career? Not to mention the stuff with Guthvar about... Nope. There. No spoilers, but I do want to see him brutally murdered. So, Gwynne, if you wouldn't mind putting that in later in the book, I would really appreciate it. Whale glue. Hey, whale glue is sperm, right? Because, you know, my friend was curious. We're getting to a point where Gwynne is spreading our cheeks and railing us with strong, throbbing character moments. Okay, unfortunately, from this point on, there may be some minor spoilers. Just minor. You know, only the kind that a Nickelodeon exec would be attracted to. So, there's not actually much happening apart from Orca attacking a village in that one chapter, and then, you know, of course, turning her story into God of War, I guess. Someone did just steal the Brissinger child. Brissinger? What is Singer? I don't even know if that's the... There's no way that's the... Is that the name? The tainted child from Elvar's POV. I don't know. But the Stonehead guy is pretty cool. Plus Elvar having to make that decision, and then on top of everything, now she's after the same people that Olka and the Bloodsworn are after. Yeah. Woo! Obviously, the book was set up for all 3 characters to meet. But for what purpose? What is the purpose? What is it? For what purpose? But for what purpose? For what purpose? For what purpose? What is it all for? Does God exist? What's the purpose? My balls itch. I don't know. My panties are a little bit dry right now. The book is still great, but like I said, Gwynne is just lining a metal pipe against my head and beating me with how good his characters are. I know I said minor spoilers past this point, but I do still want to keep kind of a tight lip. Unlike my ex-wife. But let's just say... You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Ilska, the ruthless. Ilska, the cruel. Ilska, the 2 named. Shouldn't that be the thrice name? Shut up! Now everyone is out for revenge. Like, Olka, side characters with Olka, the characters in Olka's village, Elvar, the Battlegram, a couple of side characters in her POV, Varg, and it's been 3 months, so I don't remember anything about the Bloodborne. I remember earlier when I said, I like how Gwynne is exploring the violent nature of a Norse-inspired world. Well, the word that I was looking for is revenge. Yeah, I didn't want to spoil anything yet, but also, what else would a Viking-inspired book be about? I know the way to Oskatreth. Oh, shoot! Oskatreth? I don't know what that is. It is not in the glossary, so I guess it's something cool and new. Time to find out. Oskatreth is the newest addition to the coolest things I've ever read in my life. Vigorith is the battleground of the gods, and Oskatreth is the graveyard of the gods. You know, just in case you thought the book wasn't epic enough. Oh! But there's more. They had to do a blood ritual to figure out how to get there, and it is so cool. Yo, blood rituals are tight. No, they aren't. Stop referencing Ryan George. Don't you understand? I can't stop referencing Ryan George. Super easy. barely an inconvenience. What has become of you? No. No, don't. So you have a new movie for me? No! That was weird. The blood ritual was pretty cool, though. Actually, the whole magic system is cool, even though it kind of feels like background noise. It's like bass guitar. It's important, but nobody notices it. Like, do you know who this is? Because even in 7th grade, neither did I. With how bad my memory is, I'm very happy that I actually remember Uspa destroying the book. But still, I went back and read it because you can't stop me. Varg! Varg. All I can do is think about the mystery with his sister. Because, like I said, I don't remember any of the Bloodsworn's names. Except for Tigvret. Is that his name? That could be his name. He's cool. And I do like the dialogue between the Bloodsworn. There's such a genuine camaraderie there that's very entertaining to watch. But, as far as, like, their fates and foreshadowing goes... Also, I want to say, my current theory on Varg is that he is tainted. Probably with Ulfthenar. I think that's the wolf guy. But if it isn't, the wolf guy. And I don't know. I think he probably killed his sister. I don't know. Because, okay, look, what else would the twist be? Unless it's one of those situations where her death is caused by, like, an element from a future book. Kind of like, basically any twist in the first 5 seasons of Supernatural.
Zion! Oh, how do we get out of this predicament? Hey, Booby. Yeah, I've been hitting the books pretty hard.
Tell me what I need to know!
And I've discovered that there's this thing that was never hinted at, but actually fits in well with the mythology, and, I mean, it says here it'll literally solve all of the problems that you have. Oh. All of them? Yeah, it'll create some new problems that we'll focus on for the rest of the season, or, until Eric Kripke gets bored of it. You leave that man alone! He is the reason the boys is good!
Idiot!
Zion!
Is this what schizophrenia feels like? Because if so, it's a lot more fun than all the homeless people make it out to be. And then, right as Olka is sneaking up to the tavern where the man who kidnapped Brekka is located, Gwynne cuts away. Look, I understand that that's a fundamental part of storytelling, pacing, but I've also been waiting, let's see, about this much of the book for this to happen, and he just cuts away. I waited so many pages. Don't cut away. But of course, when we cut back, it's Orca is just taking out an entire tavern. I don't know what else I expected from her. Your son will change the world. Oh, they are definitely sacrificing the kids to essentially resurrect the gods. I should have figured that out sooner. Then Orca goes on some Glotka type beat, but little does she know, that's my favorite character from the Blade itself. Actually, if she was in a fantasy book club, then she would know, because how do you read this book and have anyone other than Glotka as your favorite character? Why did I stop halfway through? This book was so good. Look at that, I'm like exactly halfway through. What is wrong with me?
Hey! Focus!
Right, so, sorry, this one. As exciting as Varg getting closer to revealing the mysteries of this book is, what I'm more focused on is the fact that there is a rat god, which means that we have been robbed of a insane rat cover on one of these books. Look, listen. Listen, Gwen, and the insanely talented artist who makes these covers. I have a whole fidget cube container full of loose change. This could all be yours. Give me the rat. Okay, look, no spoilers, but Brekka taking the tenure as a pet, it hits different now. And that was actually kind of terrifying. But who cares, because we're about to see Oscar Treth! Woo! Look, I'm sorry for yelling so much, okay, but how else do you expect me to react to this book? Just for you, here is a non-yelling, live reaction of Chapter 45. I genuinely did take those as I was reading. That chapter was insane. Also, I should point out, I'm recording this last half like back to back because that is how quickly I read the second half of this book. I don't think I mentioned that in the script anywhere. It took me a day. Not only did I read the second half, but I also finished the script all in the same day. It was a very busy day. I literally did nothing but read. Joys of being unemployed. And speaking of, since we're in the second half of the book, there will be some spoilers from here on out. Again, I really don't want to spoil anything, so anything that will be a spoiler, it will be a lighter spoiler. Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure it's even possible to only keep them light, but I'm doing my best. So let's start with the fact that I am on Grin's side. I do not trust this Bjor fella. The people who initiate sex in fantasy books are never trustworthy. Look at A Song of Ice and Fire. They all do it. Not a single one of them is trustworthy. Speaking of, the stuff with the gods is actually really interesting, and I kind of wish that there was just like a 20-page pamphlet written by John Gwynne that sort of summarized a lot of the world-building stuff, because I'm blasting through this book. I don't want to stop and take the time to like piece everything together, and the wiki is not really a thing for this book. I'm kind of losing some of it, but it's all so interesting. Getting lore dumps is cool, especially when it is as interesting as all of this. And I understand that a lot of people really enjoy piecing together all the things. I mean, it's fun. Do not get me wrong. There is definitely a time and place for it. But also keeping it straight is a lot of work for me. Pause. See, that's why Song of Ice and Fire is so good. Because I can read 2 textbooks. Actually, 2 textbooks and 8 maps. 12 maps. Because just the concept that the old gods' bones are what fuels the magic system is so freaking awesome. Because now we get to see a dude using a sword crafted out of the bones of a fallen god. I'm about to yell again, but I will mute it just for you, so don't worry. I cannot believe I finished it. The Voice of the Night by Dean Koontz. It's been 3 years since I started reading it, just sort of in the background, so this is a very big deal for me. Also, finished Shadow of the Gods. I told you that Varg was tainted. I even said he was a wolf one. I told you. I told you. See how I'm standing in a blank void right now? That's because nothing can get past me, bitch. Except for the fact that Vol's sister's Uspa. Vol's married to Glornir. That got past me pretty easily. But guess what else I got right? Bjor is a traitor. This was the live reaction to me finding out that information. Bro, I told you that not a single good thing comes from initiating sex in a fantasy book. I told you. It never once happened. Before I forget, since I'm talking about, minor spoilers, Leek and Mold. His name was not Mold. What was his name? Hold on. That's not even mathematically possible. Mord. Okay, I got it. Mord. I didn't remember because I didn't like him that much. I know it's not common for a YouTuber to say this, but I'm not a fan of children. Leek is cool, though. I like Leek. He's chill. Any details of what happened would be a spoiler. So instead, I'm just going to read the only note, and I mean this, the only note that I took during the last 50 to 70 pages. Fucking shit, piss, asshole, spread. Are you kidding me? That is a pretty good summary, actually. Including breaks, reading this took me about 10 months. Yet again, including breaks, reading this took me about 2 days. So, honestly, the book is worth getting for the title and the cover alone. But the fact that you're getting a good story within here, that's just a bargain. Book 3 of the trilogy is coming out in October, but unfortunately, I can't recommend anyone buy it because there's no rat on the cover. After that ending, I need to go straight into book 2. I don't think I can, though, because I should be getting a job sometime soon, and also because John Gwynne liked my reply to his tweet. Yeah! Dweeb. Feel free to subscribe, and please don't tell John Gwynne that I made this. On the off chance that he does see this, I was serious about the rat. I have a business email. Contact me. Also, I'm working on a video that'll probably end up being like 4 hours long. Imagine this video, except in front of a green screen, and 4 hours long. Doesn't that sound like fun? If it doesn't, please God, let me know. Please God, let me know. 4 hours is a long. That's so much effort and time. You get it. All right.